It's a sad sign of the times. Churches, synagogues, mosques beefing up security to guard against gunmen, terrorists, and hate crimes. As Adam Cellini reports, in some cases, pastors are undergoing firearms training to protect their parishioners.
1 week after a gunman walked into a Sutherland Springs Baptist church and claimed 26 lives, Pastor Bill Hild had a message for his congregation.
I assured them that not only did we already have procedures and practices in place, both seen and unseen, for their safety, that we were going to continue to study those and increase those where it is appropriate.
Security at Sarasota's downtown Baptist church predates both Texas and the Charleston, South Carolina shooting 2 years earlier. Most of it you'd never notice walking through the doors on a Sunday, but make no mistake, in this sanctuary, evil can be met with deadly force.
As Jesus once said, we need to be as harmless as doves and wise as serpents. We're not going to allow someone intent on hurting us or our people much of an opportunity to do that.
For an active shooter, it's fair game.
Joe Naples says churches are easy targets.
Everybody thinks that a church is a safe place. It's supposed to be, but that's why we're bigger targets. It's a confined area where there's groups of people.
Naples started Divine Protection Ministries back in 2014 after the shooting death of a Bradenton pastor. For absolutely no cost, he'll visit local churches to set up security teams, trained to protect what he calls the flock.
You're the sheepdog. You're there to give the warning, try and clear everybody out, do the best you can to make sure nobody gets hurt.
He's since trained about 5 churches, turning ushers and parishioners into bodyguards who are posted either in plain sight or undercover. But firearms training, he says, can be a tough sell.
A lot of churches are anti-gun. A lot of churches are anti-security. You know, the whole thing is they say, well, we're in a church, God's going to protect us. God sent me there to help protect you.
Churches aren't the only ones with fortifications. Synagogues have been ahead of this curve for some time. Here, you'd be hard-pressed to find one without basic security right at the front door.
How can I help you?
We've all been part of these conversations. There's not a Jewish organization in this town that isn't fully aware of the risk out there.
Howard Tevelvitz knows that risk is growing in the United States. Over 100 bomb threats have been made against Jewish institutions so far this year.
You can't be afraid. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be afraid. What you have to do is be smart and be prepared to the extent you can be prepared.
The Sarasota Police Department partnered with over 70 faith-based leaders like Tevelvitz and Hild after the Charleston church shooting. They added even more members after Sutherland Springs.
There were some churches that hadn't participated the first go-around that actually reached out to us.
SPD offers site checks, patrols. They even wrote a 10-step emergency action guide specifically for places of worship.
If you're not prepared and you don't plan for something, you will freeze. So we teach police officers, practice in your head, and I encourage all of our community, practice in your head what you're going to do if there's an active shooter.
Another suggestion from Joe Naples to churches is to practice active shooter situations kind of like a fire drill. That way the congregation understands which exits are the closest, how they can reach them the fastest, and who among the congregation they should look to in the event of an emergency. In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.